identify as an I do identify as an angry Manchester United fan, so I think that is a plus. That's a plus on my end. So those are kind of things you should know about me. And for this, I told Benga that enough before we can go into Excel, because every other thing you're meant to like know when you're trying to start out, or you're in the career already. It's all about tools, but you cannot leverage tools if you don't understand what the tool is meant to do. So I I put forward that we should actually like start from the entire concept. I know that a lot of people already know the concept, but I do feel that there's nothing wrong in always like going back and refreshing on those concepts. I hope that's not so bad with everyone on this group. So, for this, I pardon me if the slide is too short. I had to like whip it in very very quick fashion because I was pretty busy all through the week. So, pardon me if it's too short for you guys, but I will just try to like expatiate on some of the slides. So for this, we're going to like going over intro. Everybody hear me, please.
Can you turn on your video?
We can hear you.
Yes, we can. We can hear you.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me clearly, please?
Can you turn on your video, Sunday?
I would have loved to turn up my video, but we're in Lagos. There's no light. So.
Oh, sorry. No problem. No problem.
Apologies, everyone.
I would just have loved people to like see your face and then the slide, but no problem.
Yeah. Hope is clear from my end, though.
Yeah, but you can put your presentation on that mode. That's going to be full screen. Presentation mode. Yeah. Yeah, good.
Does it work for everyone now? Can you say? So,
yes.
So we're going to start by trying to understand what the data analysis is as a concept. And for that, we're going to like, we're going to the entire overview. It's all about, we're going to talk about what data analysis, the importance, why are we actually doing, why are we actually pursuing the career, why are we taking on the concept of data analysis, what it entails, and the tools that we typically use for data analysis, and the challenges you will face in such a career or such a process. You have to understand that data analysis is actually a process of mining, inspecting, cleaning, and modeling data aimed at revealing useful insights. But as a data analyst, you have to understand that the entire lineage of data analysis involves data, and data comes in different forms. The amount of calls you make as a person, it's a data. The time you sleep, if for those of us that uses smartwatches, it tracks when we sleep, how many steps, those are data. And for you to be able to like analyze it or even bring out insight from it, you need to collect it. So that is the entire concept. The entire concept of data analysis starts at the collecting stage, because you cannot do anything without actually getting the data you want to use it. So it involves you actually getting the data. So that's as a data analyst, depends. The data for you to be able to do any analysis must be available. Without it being available, there is nothing for you to analyze. There's nothing for you to turn into dashboard, or for you to turn into a table, or for you to tell your stakeholders what it entails, because the data have to be available at the start. So that is why recently you can see a lot of data engineering roles, because companies in Nigeria have finally discovered that you're only as good as the data you have. So whether you have beautiful dashboards, your dashboards are like out of this world, it does not give you anything if your data is bad. If your data is not solid, it's not good enough, it does not speak to the problem you are trying to solve, there is nothing your data analyst or your BI developer can do. You're only as good as what the data that is available. So the job of the data analyst for most time is for them to first pick up the data. Either they are getting it as a flat file. For those of us that use Excel, we can get it in flat file mode, or we're getting it from a CSV, which is also a flat file, but it's read in different ways. You can have your tab separated files. The most popular one at the moment is the Parquet files. You have the Parquet files, you have your RDT files. It comes in different forms, but for you to start your analysis, the data must be available in whatever form it's going to be, but it has to be available. So as a data analyst, you have to inspect it. So the data analyst can be said to be like a miner, because there's no use for you having diamond in your ancestral land or in your father's backyard without you bringing it to the surface. As long as it's under the ground, it is useless. So you have to bring it out. So data analysis is like it's in that form, it's like a miner. So you have to bring it. And when you bring it out, you cannot just leave it with all the debris, the dirt. You have to check it. You have to ensure that it is actually of the right quality. It's actually diamond, not fake. It is not just a crystal. You have to inspect it. You have to clean it up, and you have to ensure that it's in the right form. Whether you want it to be a 24 karat, you want it to be whatever form best present it. So that is the entire data analysis process about. For those of us that are from an engineering background, it's all about you bringing it from a state in which it is rough, and you are bringing it into a state that speaks to the need you're trying to solve. And one thing about data analysis that a lot of people always skip, it's not about you making dashboards or making reports or making visual appealing. It's for you to speak to the insight you are trying to generate, because you have to understand that the entire concept of you creating everything is for you to solve a particular problem. You want to, as a person, you want to know as a business owner, your business owner, you're trying to know which location your customers are coming from the most. So if your dashboards or your reports are so beautiful, but do not explain to the business owner that, okay, you're a business owner in Lagos and most of your common customers are coming from Ikeja, it does not speak to their problem, and whatever you've done, you've not solved the issue you're meant to solve. So the entire concept of being a data analyst is for you to solve a problem, for you to make an issue that is confusing much more detailed, or to show you are currently, like, as a data analyst, you are give or take a Sherlock Holmes, an investigator, a detective. You are given a case that is confusing to the layman, and you are told to use whatever tool you can, you take whatever concept you can pick from the crime scene, from DNA tests, and for you to bring it and tell us who is the culprit, what happened. That is your job as a data analyst, for you to add more meaning to whatever information they have already, for you to explain, tell us what happened, tell us what we should do. So that is what a data analyst does. That, in concept, is what data analysis means in its busiest form. Also, to move on, we have to ask ourselves, the data analysts we are always talking about, that I've been speaking for, give or take, about the past 10 minutes, what is important? Why should I even do it? Why is it so important? Why is everyone talking about it? So, as a business owner, everybody, there's what you have a gut feeling. Most business owners have it, most people have it, gut feeling. But you cannot run a business on gut feelings. You need to be able to back your decision with what the data is trying to tell you. Whatever you've pulled, your sales records, your inventory records, your discount, your revenue records, you need to back it. And that is where data analysis comes in. The data analysis takes all those numbers, those plenty numbers, those rows of Excel numbers, your spreadsheet numbers, your database numbers. It brings everything, and it uses it to gives you insight that backs, reinforces, or goes against your gut feeling or whatever you've thought. Because everyone has biases. You get me? In Lagos, you can decide that, okay, we have this feeling that most people that are rich in Lagos are in Lekki or on the island. So we should move most of our marketing effort towards people on the island. But the data might not tell you that okay, for this particular product you are selling, most of your customers are currently in Orili. So if you do not use your data, you do not leverage data that you have to be able to give you a much more robust view of what your current business situation is, you will just spend so much money on marketing effort that is going to yield you nothing. So that is why data analysis is very, very important. It ensures that we are not clouded with bias and we actually have data-backed insights guiding our decisions. So that is the most important part of data analysis. It ensures that whatever decision we're making as a business, as a person, we can point to a data that is backing it. So it's another importance is it identifying trends and patterns. If, for eventually, you are running a business, give or take, you're selling what the ladies wear, you're selling maternity gowns, and you definitely know that, okay, for every month you are stocking, let's say you're stocking 1,000 pieces of maternity gowns every single month, and you notice that on certain months your stock is not enough. By using data analysis is going to leverage the data you have and be able to tell you that, okay, due to your sales records over this number of years, there is always a spike of orders from customers within this particular time, whether it's seasonally, whether it's monthly. So with the data, you can be able to now increase, either to increase your stockings of those months or to reduce it, so you can be able to ensure that you are not overstocked or you're understocked. So that is the entire concept of data analysis. It allows you to be able to identify trends in your businesses, patterns you should always look for, either to leverage it or for you to cut. So if you want to start a business in which you're selling pig, and you know that, okay, in this thing you need to sell it, and data tells you that due to demographic data, it tells you in this location there are a lot of people that are of the Islamic faith. It tells you that with the business, with that information, it tells you that that is already a bad venture in that particular location. So without you leveraging the demographic data, you might not be able to tell that there's a high number of people with Islamic faith in that location. So that is the entire concept of you using data analysis, and that is why it's very, very important, and that is why it's being leveraged across different sectors. Whether you are in health, you are in retail business, you are in the hospitality management, you have to leverage data analysis because it ensures that you are always ready for the market. You are not losing sight of important trends or patterns in your business. Thirdly, I can say that data analysis improves your business process. It ensures that you are always on point because you know you can use your data to ensure that, okay, you are tracking. For those of us that sell items on Instagram, you can be able to when you open your data, you have to check your data on your Instagram, check how your processes and your marketing processes is doing, if it is working, where it is working. So those are the importance of data analysis. It's with you leveraging and ensuring you are making better decisions, you are always ahead of your competition. And if your competition are not leveraging data, it is always obvious, because you might be wondering why someone is doing better than you, but you don't know that the person is spending so much on ensuring that he is ahead of the competition, is ahead of the curve, using data to always analyze it. And for someone like me that is a Manchester United fan, it is evident, because before United was usually leveraging data analysis, City were already ahead of it, and that is why they are performing more than us. So for sport lovers, I'm sorry for moving towards sport. It's just trying to buttress that point. Before we can be able to understand, we have to understand what the data analysis process is. Before you can be able to do anything, you have to first understand the problem. You have to, what is the problem you are trying to solve? You have to have that down. You have to know, because you cannot solve a problem you do not know about. So the entire concept is for you to know what you're trying to solve. Either it's the problem given to you by your stakeholder, your boss, or your personal problem you're trying to, like a person you're trying to solve. Okay, you're trying to make an analysis of your spending. So you have to first know what you're trying to analyze. So that is why the most important part is for you to define the problem you're trying to solve. You cannot solve what you do not know. Next problem is for you to build, the next process is for you to collect the data. Like I mentioned before, the entire concept of data analysis starts with the data. Where there is no data, there is no analysis. That is what I learned. If there's no data, you cannot analyze anything where the data is not available. So you have to first start by either collecting data. If the data is something that is available on open source, you can always pick it up. Or some of us that pick our data from Cargo, DataGov, other available options of data, or you're trying to collect it either through surveys, or you're trying to pick it up from available databases, or it's just a random data you're trying to generate either from your Apple Watch, from your phone. You have to first collect the data from whatever source it is in. You have to collect it. And one thing about data is that for most of us that have studied data, and some of us have tried out some projects on data analysis, we have to always understand that data is really, real life data is really in the form you want, the state you want, and how clean you want it. So even if it is clean in quotes, it might not be in the form you want it to be. It might not be in the data type you want it to be. So you still have to go through data cleaning or pre-processing to ensure that it is in the form that you want it to be. And after that, you need to do some data exploration analysis. Data exploration is all about you probing, like you probing your data to ensure that, okay, let me see what it's about. What is it about? Trying to either reinforce your preconceived biases or for you to go contrary to your preconceived biases. Because one thing you have to understand as a data analyst is that we always have biases. Everyone have biases. And the most important skill you can always have as data analyst is for you to put your biases by the side and look at the data. Data is either going to confirm your bias, reinforce your bias, or it's going to go contrary to your bias. And we as data analysts should never be too proud to lay down our biases. It's something that you cannot do, but we always have biases. And it's something that we should always keep it by the side when doing our analysis. We have to first explore. You have to probe data for it to tell you what it is about. Even no matter what they tell you that data, if they tell you that the data contains 50,000 rows and 7 columns, your job is for you not to take it with what the metadata says. You have to confirm yourself. You have to check and ensure that it contains 50,000, not 50,001, 50,000, not 8 columns, but 7 columns. You have to confirm it. You have to check it yourself. If they say that it contains the first name, last name, you have to confirm that it is the first name and the last name, not the first name and the middle name, because it is very, very important. One thing about data analysis, when people say that, oh, I'm very, very good in this tool, the tool is just a tool. One thing about it is that garbage in, garbage out when it comes to data analysis. If your data is bad, your analysis is going to be bad. There's no any magic you can do. Whether you can do the most beautiful dashboards or you have the best skills in programming, whether you can mix 2 programming languages together. If your data is bad, there is nothing you can do about it. Your analysis is going to be bad. So your job is to ensure that whatever you are expecting your data, it is there. So a lot of people love visualizations. It's not compulsory as a skill as a data analyst, but it is necessary because you're trying to show your analysis, the beautiful analysis, the statistical processes you did to people that do not have the time. Most stakeholders do not have the time to sit with you for you to show them your Python scripts. They just want to see it in the most easily consumable state. And most times it is always easier for you to tell someone that the business is moving from this to this within a period of time using a line chart than for you trying to show them script of numbers, showing them, no, it is best for you. It's easily consumed by people in those kind of form. That is why visualizations are very, very important to a lot of stakeholders. It is easier for them to consume, look at a glance, and understand the business position. When you put a number, if the business revenue for this year is 1 million, and you put it in you just put it in a line that, okay, it is 1 million, it is easily consumed than you giving them rows of numbers. So that is why data visualization is very important as a process. It allows you to make your analysis and your data in its most consumable form for the end user. You cannot create dashboards and not make it easier for them to interpret. You either make it that you need either labels or you are presenting it yourself. So you have to ensure that it is easily interpretable, and you have to ensure that you are drawing them to a conclusion, because the entire concept of you doing the analysis is for you to elicit action. If the business is doing properly, doing well, your job is to elicit action by letting them know that, okay, whatever process we are doing, we have to continue in that part. If it's not doing well, we have to fine tune or improve our processes to ensure that, okay, whatever we are doing, we stop it and we improve it. So you have to lead the stakeholders to understand what you've done, what you expect them to do. It has to be very, very clear. Whatever you're doing should be very, very clear. That is the most important part of the data. There's no use you spending so much time doing statistical analysis if it is not easily interpretable and they cannot reach a conclusive conclusion to whatever you've put forward to the stakeholders. Because you have to understand, as a data analyst, you are trying to convince people to either take action, change action, or you are trying to bring forward a reaction from them. So you have to ensure that whatever you're doing is easily interpretable and they can reach the kind of conclusion you expect from them. Like, this is the most interesting part of data analysis, is the tools that you typically see either on Twitter or on LinkedIn, where everybody mentions whatever they want. You hear about Excel, whether it's Excel, Google Sheets, SQL, BI tools, programming languages, whether you are using a Python language or you are using our language, or some people that prefer to use Ruby, Julia, Java. But you have to understand that tools are just tools. If you don't understand what you're trying to do, the tool is going to fail you, because it's always garbage in, garbage out. Your skill, whatever, if you understand the processes, you will know, okay, this is when I can use an Excel sheet, this is when I can use an SQL query, this is when I can use a BI tool, this is when I can use a Python, this is where I can use a Python script or an R script for me to do this analysis. You have to understand that you are only as good as the skills that you have, and the tools are only there to assist you, not to actually do the analysis process. You are the person doing it. So you have to understand that you are leveraging the tool to make your work easier. As a data analyst, or as someone that is performing the data analysis process, you're going to experience these challenges either in your personal project or when you're working. Data availability. Most times you might have big dreams, big plans, big analysis you want to do, but where there's no data, share in this part of the world, where there's no data, you cannot do anything. If you are in a company that they have no data with respect to their customers, you cannot do any customer segmentation, because there is no data. You have to wait until you start gathering the data, or you start collecting data before you can be able to do it. Secondly, another challenge you're going to experience is data quality and integrity. You have to be sure you're going to face a lot of issues where the data you're trying to work on or you're trying to analyze is not of the best quality. It is not clean. You do not trust it. So those are kind of challenges you have where you're trying to get data and you do not trust that, okay, this data is correct. When was it collected? Like you have a data in which there is no time frame when it was collected. You don't know when it was collected. You don't know how it was collected. So those are kind of issues you're going to have. And you cannot go ahead with data you're not sure of its integrity or of its quality. If it's quality issues, you might go ahead to make it better, either by cleaning it up, ensuring it is complete. But if the data has integrity issues, there's nothing you can do about it, because you do not even know how valid that data is, how correct that data is, and if it's even a correct data. So you have to be very, very certain of those things. And those are the kind of issues you're going to experience, especially in this part of the world where we have very, very poor data collecting culture. That issue you're going to have is data privacy and security. When you're trying to get some data, you can send surveys, but data privacy laws, not in Nigeria, in other parts of the world, they have very, very severe data privacy issues. Some of their data, if you're working for companies that are not, like, they are in Europe, their data, they have standing laws that prevent their data being stored outside of those countries. So if you are working for a company in Germany and you are working in Nigeria, they have issues with you storing their citizens' data in places outside Nigeria. So that is some of the issues we have, and some of us are having issues with getting remote roles, and those are kind of the challenges those companies have to negotiate. And it's all about data security. Data, they say, is the new oil, but the oil is only valuable if you can be able to take it from this point to this point securely. If you're having pirates always stealing your data, people are not going to trust your data and they're going to give you access to their data. So you have to ensure, you, as a data analyst, you have to be very, very, you have to put into your mind that whatever data you have to secure it, and it has to be private, especially when the data has some very, very very, very important identifying variables or features or attributes in it, such as people's name, their addresses, card numbers for people that work in the bank. Those are the kind of issues you cannot allow those kind of things to happen. So for this is where I actually end the class. For those that are here from the start to the end, I thank you guys for following me through this, and thank you. And if you have any questions, I'll be taking questions now.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate you. Thank you so much for the presentation. I don't know if anybody has any question. This is just like an introduction class, so the Excel class will start fully by next week Saturday. This same time. Anybody, any question? Are you new to this career path? There's something that you need to ask. Anybody?
Am I already?
Hello? Is somebody saying something?
No. No, sir.
Okay. It seems we are all clear, right?
Yes. I'm not any question. Yes.
Okay. So thank you very much, everyone. So I will upload this video on our YouTube.
Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
All right. My name is Samuel. Thanks so much for the time and for the lesson. Please, I want to ask a question. By the time we're going to be commencing the second section of this class, what is expected of us to come along with? Is it just for us to just watch as we are going to be taught, or we need to get some device to aid our learning?
Okay, so the first thing is that I would advise you to have a working laptop, fully charged. We don't want the classes to be more than 1 hour, right? So that it's going to be quality, because anything that is more than 1 hour, people are already getting tired. For example, now those that registered for this class now that joined the WhatsApp group, they are more than 50. Now, if you minus me and the tutor, we only have 21 people, right? So we expect your full participation. Have a very good laptop, install Excel on it. Even if possible, you should have Excel 365. You should have the Office 365 on your laptop, if possible, right? So that you can have some functions to be able to work on your laptop. So that's basically it for now. Just Excel, your full participation, and just your focus for just 1 hour for each first per Saturday. So when we see that people are actually, they are showing commitment, then maybe we can be having 1 hour Saturday, 1 hour Sunday. But for now, we are going to be doing only Saturdays for now. And we'll see how it goes from there.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other person, any question before we end the class? So during the course of the week, I'll be sharing a slide with us. I'm going to be sharing a slide. Courage, you want to say something? I'm going to be sharing a slide with us that will entail all the different tutors that we have and the different topics they're teaching us, right? And their profile statement and everything is going to be on that on that slide. So the topics that we'll be treating for each week, and let's see how it goes from there. Courage. You want to say something? Hello? Okay. If there's nothing, then I think we can end the class today. So see you guys again same time next week. Bye.